Hello, hi everyone, good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, guys. Still, I can say, so many students did not join yet. Okay, let's wait. So, guys, but let's start. So, any question on yesterday's topics which we have discussed yesterday? Are we good with? Actually, yesterday we have done something, some practice on HTML, right? So today we'll try to cover CSS. Okay, CSS means cascading style sheet. Okay, and the thing is like CSS is just nothing. Is yes, somebody is speaking. Okay, so I already shared the PPT, guys, over the channel. Okay, so you can check the PPTs there. If you want to learn in depth like HTML or CSS, then you can go to the PPTs. Okay, but I will give you the knowledge, like whatever knowledge is required, but you should know the basics. What is CSS and what are these tags, like why we are using these tags. Same way in CSS also. I'll show you like how to use the CSS and what is there, like what are the classes, what are the IDs, and how we will use these classes in HTML code. In the same manner, we will use this CSS in our lightning component. So see, HTML we will not use in aura component. HTML we will use in LWC, but CSS will be used in both. CSS will be used in lightning aura component also, and CSS will be used in lightning web component. So please, you should know CSS really well, because designing, you will do all type of designing in CSS only. Like if you want to make font large, it will be done in CSS. Okay, if you want to change some colors, if you want to do some paddings, padding, guys, right? Left padding, right padding, top bottom padding, all these things. Okay, if you want to give some background colors, image size, all these things will be done in CSS in real time also, and every time. Okay, so I am sharing my screen now. So let's start with CSS. What is CSS? So yesterday, if you remember, we have designed this page. Okay, this page we have designed, right? So we have done so many things. We have created some tables, some text, some links, everything. Now this page, now see, so when CSS will be used, CSS will use just to change, just to update the look and feel of this page. So we can see with the name only, right? Cascading style sheet means we can cascade the style also within the sheet, with the sheet. Okay, so we can, if you want to like, and one more thing is there, like when we are giving the design here, like h1, let's say we have given, this is the h1, right? Center and h1. Now let's say if we want to perform some actions, some design that should work with everyone, everything, right? Like I will define that, okay, that this is going to be global styling, that full page font size should be 10. How we will do that? In HTML we cannot do that, right? So we can do that in CSS. So we will define that global, like we will define style for all. There's one tag for that, like we will define styling with asterisk symbol, and all the change, like all the changes will be happened, like changes will be reflecting on full page. So this type of things we can do in CSS. Okay, so CSS is just nothing, it's just a cascading style sheet, and the purpose of CSS is to update the look and feel of the sheet, guys. So you can go through this sheet. Okay, so it's you can go through this sheet in your time. So now, advantage of CSS, I will tell you what are the advantage. CSS saves time. And one more thing, like see this page, the code we have written for this is the code we have written for that HTML page, right? And this code will be used for this page only, this page. Whatever style you will write in the HTML code, that will be used for the same HTML page. Now let's see, I want to give some styling which will be reusing, which will be getting reused for multiple HTML pages. Okay, for multiple website, I want to use the same CSS. That also we can do. What we will do, we will create one CSS file, we will save it, and we will use that CSS file in all the files. That's how we can save the time with CSS also, because CSS is reusable, guys. Now pages load faster, so yes, when you will use CSS, page will be faster actually. Okay, because in HTML we need to write attribute every time. Okay, let's say in H1 again you need to write the attribute, in H2 again you need to write the attribute, but in CSS we will define something like that. H1 H2 you will define H1 H2, and styling will work for both. So you will learn these things like how it will work. Easy maintenance, obviously. Now guys, when we are talking about maintenance, let's say this is a website and this is a one more website. In this website also we are using the same CSS, and this website we are using the same CSS. Okay, now just tell me, if you want to change the look and feel, let's say the new comment came and they are telling us that we need to change the font size of both the websites. If you will not use CSS, what you need to do, you need to go to the code of HTML for both the files, and you need to change both the codes, right? This is a bit tricky. Now if you will use CSS in both the files, what you will do, you will just change the css file, and that css file is getting used in both, so it will reflecting automatically it will getting reflected in both the sides. Clear? That's the meaning of easy to maintenance. Superior style to HTML, like in with CSS you can give more styles. That's correct. Okay, multiple device compatibility, yes, that's also correct. Global web standards, that's also correct. So you can go through like in details, you can go through it. Clear, guys? I think now you have some idea why we will use CSS and when we will use CSS. Clear, guys? Please confirm. Any question, any confusion? Okay, so now let's start writing some very basic CSS. Okay, so now you need to check the syntax now. Okay, in CSS syntax will always be like this: selector, property, value. Selector can be type of so many things. Like it can be class selector, it can be global selector, all type of things. Okay, it can be table selector, heading selector, anything. Now in this CSS, first you need to add the selector, then property, value. Property means, guys, what type of styling you want to give, like font size, background color. Okay, all these type of things we will give in property. Okay, now what is meaning of value? Value means what value you want to give. Let's say background color, property background color, and value you want to give some color. And yesterday we have seen it that we can define color by two ways, right? Either by like, we should know two ways, actually there are multiple ways. Okay, you can define percentage of RGB also, but those two ways should be sufficient. One is name the color, red, white, yellow, green, or you can give the hexacode like this. Okay, so now the example you can see this table here. What we are trying to do, we are trying to give this some styling to table selector. So once you will define table, whatever tables are there in your HTML page, all those tables will have this style. Okay, if you will define this style in your HTML, whatever table, let's say we have three tables in our page. Okay, so all those three tables will be having this style. Border, the border will be 1px, and the solid, it will be solid, and solid color will be this hash C00. I don't know what color it is, I think it's black. Okay, so we need to check the hexacodes, whatever hexacode we will get, and we need to use those hexacodes. Okay, now let's continue. Now we are going to discuss type of selector. I told you we can have multiple type of selector, right? Right here we are using table selector. So in the same manner, we can have the H1 selector, H2 selector. If you will see how what type of thing we are using, H1, H2. If you will change the table selector, let me show you. Can you see this, guys? Let's make. Okay, now one more thing, we can use our CSS inside this style. Okay, if you want to write css on the same html page, this is one way to write the css. If you want to write the css within the same html page, you need to put your css styling between these style tags. Okay, once you will write your styling between this style tags, this style tag you can put at the end of the page also, or you can put this after the header also. It's up to us. Okay, so what, let's say what I am trying to do, I am trying to give let's say h1. This is h1 selector. Okay, and here color I am going to give red. So what we have done in this styling, we have selector name is h1. H1 means whatever h1, let's say we have 5 h1 in this page, all those this styling will be reflecting on all those 5 h1 h1 elements. Okay, and what color we are defining, we are defining red color. So if you will see here, we have only one h1, right? This is the h1, correct? H1 tag. Now if you will save this page, let's save it, and we will see what changes we are going to see. This is the current page, correct? Now if we will reload it, we will see that the color of h1 is changed. This is h1, right? This is h2, this is h3, h4, h5. So we have, but the selector we have used is h1. That's why the changes is getting reflected in h1 only. Now we have only one h1. Let's try one more thing. Let's create one more h1. Okay, what I am going to do, I am going to create one more h1, and I want to see that if this is going to be reflected for all the h1 or not. Control V, save. So once I will add one more h1 here, what I should see that after h6, one more h1 will come and the color will be red. Clear, guys? The menu of selector. Now we will see type of selector, how many type of selectors we have in CSS. Okay, so everyone can try it, guys. Please try to write one style in this HTML code, and in that style you can give any selector, either table. Okay, now if I will do the same thing for table, okay, let's see if table have this color thing or not. Can you see this? All the tables color becomes red, right? This is changed. So it's depends. Now if you will see h1 h2 selector, h1 selector becomes red because we have mentioned the table selector here, right, in place of h1 selector. Okay, that's how we will use the CSS here. Any question, guys, till now? Please let me know if you have any query, guys. Okay, now let's move on to the next things. So like this is just first type of selector. Like you can mention the same name of the element, and you can use those styling will be reflecting to those selectors. Okay, like tags. Now next is universal selector. So I was talking about it right in the start, that meaning of this is, guys, means if you will make asterisk and if you will make color, means this universal selector means changes will be reflected to everything, whatever things are there on this page. If we are using that style here, those changes will be reflecting on full page. So let's do this. Okay, so what we will do, in place of this style asterisk, what I am going to do, I am going to make it asterisk. Means this is a universal selector, so it will select full page. This styling will be reflected on full page. Now if I will save it, now let's reload this, guys. You can see that everything becomes red except this I will explain why. Actually this will comes in later, because we have something like, if you are defining css on inline css, embedded css, or like external, so we have some priority thing. Okay, so here this wherever this green color is coming, that have most priority than this selector priority. Okay, so we will learn this in later slides, guys. I hope till now everything is clear. So this red color is coming in this page because we have used the universal selector here. Okay, clear now? Is it clear to everyone? Okay, now descendant selector. What is the meaning of descendant selector? Let's say you want to apply a style to a particular element. Okay, and that element lies with a particular element. Meaning of this I will show you. Can you repeat what purpose we need to learn CSS as a Salesforce developer? Yes, I will repeat it. Well, actually, when you will learn, let me show you this thing. Actually, then you will have more interest in learning CSS. Just a minute. Okay, so just give me a minute. I'm going to show you something, so you will get the idea why we are using, why we are learning CSS. Okay, so when we will learn, whenever we will work on lightning components, either it's aura or it's LWC. Okay, you know, if you know, we have two things, two type of lightning development. You can design your lightning page, lightning components using aura component or using LWC. To create a aura component, we will use developer console. Okay, but to create LWC component, we need to use VS Code. So guys, whoever like, please try to install VS Code now on. Like, you can start installing VS Code in your machine. Now, if I will create new, okay, new, I'm going to see, I will show you this one more time. Okay, right now I'm showing this to you just for having a understanding why we need to learn the CSS. Now, if I will do test, please don't worry about anything, guys. You will see a lot of things here, lot of new things. Let's submit it. Okay, now if you will see in the right side, can you see this? This component is like of HTML page. Okay, so this component, in this component you will write all your HTML type of code, but we will not use HTML tags. We already have Salesforce library, Salesforce designed lightning system. Sorry, lightning SLDS, Salesforce lightning design system we have, where we like the tags which we were discussing in HTML. In the same manner, Salesforce has defined their own tags, their own library, and we need to use that library. Okay, now if you will see the if you go on the fourth one, style. In this style we need to write the styling, guys. This is what CSS is. That's why we need to learn CSS. All the styling will be defined here. Can you see this color red? We can do this in the same manner. If we will do this color equals to red, whatever we will write here, this styling will be reflecting here. This styling will be getting reflected on our page. In the same manner, we will create CSS file in LWC also, Lightning Web Component. This is what Aura component is, guys. This is what Aura bundle is. Can you see this Aura component name? So whenever you will create a Lightning component from developer console, like in this manner, file, new, Lightning component, it will be a Aura component. Okay, and in this Aura component, we have 8 bundles. We have a bundle, lightning bundle. This is called lightning bundle. On the right side, you can see this is what we call lightning bundle. Can you see this bundle? Okay, and in this bundle we have 8 things, like 8 things. What first will be component, second controller helper. Now if next class we will learn JavaScript. So why we will learn JavaScript, guys? Because this controller and this helper both are JavaScript file. If you click on controller, you can see this. Can you see this test controller.js? Just please check the name. Test controller.js. JS means JavaScript. In the same manner, if you click on helper, you will see that name of this is test helper.js, means JavaScript. That's why you should know basics of JavaScript also. So in this JavaScript file, you cannot write Apex code. Okay, like integer a equals to 10. This will not work here. Okay, so you should know how to define a variable in JavaScript, how to call a method in JavaScript. All these things you should know. That's why we are learning basics of HTML, basics of CSS, basics of JavaScript, because these are getting used in our Lightning components. Clear, palette? I hope this is clear to everyone now why we are learning this HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, so that's what we will do when you will work in Lightning component, guys. If you will see this SVG design render, these things will not come into picture like very frequently, but still we should know this. So I will explain everything, don't worry about it, when we will start learning Aura component from Monday. I will explain everything. Okay, now let's jump on to the CSS only, because today's target is CSS only. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of descendant selector, guys? The descendant selector, meaning of this descendant selector is, guys, that if you will see that descendant means UL and UM. So UL is also selector, EM is also selector. Means if EM selector is inside the UL selector, then this color coding will be reflected on EM selector. So I will show you meaning of this. So if we will go here in a HTML code, we can see that here in this line number 10, what we are doing, H1P, right? We inside H1 we have P tags. So if we want to define the we want to define the styling for this, how we will do that? We will use this descendant selector. Let's say we want to define some styling which should work for this only. So we will do like this. Okay. Let's write some styling. Let's remove this H1P. So this will be reflecting like inside H1 we have P selector, and in this P selector this styling should get reflected. Okay, now let's reload this. Can you see this? This red heading is coming, and here also this red is coming because here also we have used the P selector. If you will see that in this code, here in the bottom also we have used this H1 and P. So let's remove P from here. Then this styling will not work here. This Z styling will work on first line only, because here we have H1 but we don't have P, right? So as we have used H1 comma P here, H1 P in this styling, so this should be reflected only where on the places where P is inside the H1 element. Okay, so let's save this and we will reload this page. Can you see this? Now first one is the red heading and second one is not red heading, because in this second time when we are using H1 we are not using P, guys. That's why it's not getting happen. Clear? So please, you also need to do this practice. I'm going to send these 3-4 codes. Please try. Okay, so first time, let me write this code. Let's copy this style, guys. Okay, copy this style and try it for universal selector, try it for like single selector, and try it for this descendant selector. Okay, you need to try in your machine, then you will like you will get some like you will get it. Please do it. I have sent it on Zoom chat, guys, so you need to check this styling and please try on the same page which we have worked on yesterday. Okay, you can also try, you can give table here, you can give anything. Let's say you want to change styling in form, so you can define form also. If you want to change styling in tr, you can define tr also. Okay, so please try, guys. In next 1 or 2 minutes you need to try in your system by yourself. Do we have any query, guys, till now? Please let me know if we have any query. Okay, are you trying? Is everyone trying this thing? Please confirm. Here, what is center? Yes, if you forget, again, center, if you will see that, let me show you the page. In this page, we are seeing this in center, right? So that's why we have used center tag.
Rahul, what I want to ask, for example, I try this, the one we just learned, I try center and H, it didn't work, I think.
Okay, just a minute, let me try it.
Is
Okay,
it same
okay.
kind of elements or there is distinction between elements?
You are saying
I mean,
this center
tags.
H1, right? Let's do it. But the thing is, okay, let me try center H1, right? That's what you're saying. This should work actually. But here we have P also. That's the only reason. That could be the only reason it's not working. But see, I think it's working.
Okay, so it's just get two there, two selector.
So you were saying, okay, let me do that also. I think you were saying this.
Oh, I think, okay, I got it. I understand. Just my question is it, can this style just has two selector or more?
Yes, when we will use two selector here, so meaning of that's a descendant selector. Okay, if you will use H1, so meaning of this is whenever H1 selector will be inside center selector, then only this style will be working.
Can we define one more selector?
Here,
Yeah, P.
yes, I think so. We can select it. Let me try it. But I didn't try it till now. Yes, it's working. Can you see this? If we reload this page, still it's working.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, and we can select, we can do this also. Let me show you one more thing. We will learn this actually later. We can do this center comma H1 this also. Many of this is the whenever center selector will come, this style will work. Whenever H1 selector will come, it's not like it should be inside this. They are the separate selector. Okay, that we will learn later. This thing we already have in the PPT.
I understand. Okay.
Yes. Any other query, guys? Okay, so I hope this everyone tried this. So shall we proceed now? Please confirm, guys. Everyone needs to confirm. At least 2-3 of you. Sorry, I missed this part. Can you repeat it, please? Yes. So meaning of this is center H1P. When you will make center space H1 means center is also selector, H1 is also selector, and P is also selector. Let me remove this. It will make you confused. Okay, now the meaning of this is, guys, when we will write this center in H1, let me write comments. Okay. Now, this is the meaning of this. When this styling will work, this styling will work when H1 selector will come inside the center selector. So, whenever H1 selector will come inside center selector, then only this styling will work. That's the meaning of this descendant selector. That's the meaning, purpose to use this type of selector. Okay, if you will remove H1 from here, let me do that also. Control C, control paste. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is H1 center H1. I'm going to make this only. Let's remove center and I will make H2 here. Okay, so when this will work for all H2 selector. This styling will work for all H2 selectors. Okay, because here we have mentioned H2 only. That's why this will work for all H2 selector. Let's save this and we will test it. So in our HTML code, we also have H2 selector, right? So as of now, I will remove this class because this has the more priority. Now let's save it and we will test it, guys. Okay, now let's reload it. Control R. Okay, just a minute. Think this comment is giving us a system, guys. But that's how we will write comment here.
I think command has to be closed, not the one.
Just a minute. I'm checking it. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So comment, I think this is inside the style, right? This is not inside the HTML. That's the way we can write the comment in HTML, but not in CSS. Can you see this? This we can do in HTML, but I think this we cannot do. Let's see. Let me do it again. Just the same thing I have done, right? Control save. Let's see if this comment is working or not. This comment is not working. Can you see this? This is okay. I will see. Okay, because we have this also, how to use the comments in CSS. Okay, leave it inside this HTML. If you use the comments inside the HTML tag, that will count it as a HTML comments, right? But when you will use comments inside this style tag, that will count it as HTML style CSS tag. Actually, we will learn how to do the commenting in CSS. Don't worry about it. Okay, so Suha, the answer for your question is, if we are using center comma h1, means this styling will be reflected where, when h1 element will be inside the center element. What for here we are using only h2, means this styling will be reflected every time we will use h2 selector, h2 element. Clear? Is it clear for you? I think Sarah, you asked it. Is it clear, Sarah? Okay. Now let's move on to next things. Guys, now next thing we have is class selector. This is the most important one, and this is the most frequently used one. Okay. What I will do, we can define some classes. Okay. In in our styling. Classes means it's not only black. You can make it, name it anything. Okay. Now let's do this. I'll explain you what is the meaning of class. When you will define some styling with the help of dot. Let's say dot. I will say test style. Okay. And this test style is a class. Okay. And let's give color edge green. Okay, so what we are expecting, that wherever we will use this test style class, the color of that should become green, right? That's the meaning of this style. So how to use the class, that I will explain. So this is a class, this is a normal selector, this is a procedure selector. Okay, and we also learn global selector. But now we are on this topic, guys, class, how to use the classes in selectors. So this, when you will define something with dot, means it's a class. So now to use this, what you need to do is, you need to define this class. Like in this h2, I'm going to use this class. So you need to you need to write like this: class equals to double braces and value of the class. This thing we have seen yesterday also, but I told you at the same time that we will learn this class thing in CSS, right? That's the meaning of that class. So whenever you will use class equals to this, means this test style is defined somewhere in CSS. So in this CSS, you need to check what is the styling we have defined inside this class. Inside this class, we have defined styling as color equals to green. So that's what we are expecting. What will happen now? For the h2 element, color will be this. This is heading to text will come in green. That's what we are expecting. Let's see the actual result. This is heading to, it should become green. Can you see this, guys? It became green now. That's what we have done in class selector, because we have defined this styling in class selector. That's what it is happening here. H2 ESS, I will tell you that thing also. I understood your question. So you are saying this here H2 is red, and this class, in this class we are making it green, right? So but if you will see, this is green now. Why? Because this is green, because I will explain you. We have used class here, right? So this will have the more priority. Actually, this priority I will explain you which one has more priority. If you will use class here, okay. So if you will define something within the tag, that will have more priority, like this class equal this comma style. This also you can do equal to something. Okay, these things called is inline CSS. This inline will have more priority. No, not class. Like whatever, if you are defining something within the tag, that will have more priority palette. Okay, so this h2 is like, when we are using h2 here, it means all the h2 tags will have the styling, this styling, right? But we have defined one class and we are using that class, means that class that will have more priority now over this h2 symbol. So this priority things we will learn. Please have some patience. Okay, so we will learn this. So as of now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove it just to remove the confusion. Okay, this thing we will do it later. Okay, I will explain this priority thing. We have the slides for this also. Now let's move on to the next slides. That's what we will do, guys, in classes. Now if you will define class, we can define like this also. h1.black means if you will use this class within this h1 element, then only this styling will work. Okay, if you will not define this h1.black directly, you will define .black means this class can work everywhere. This class will work everywhere. What if you will define h1.black or maybe table.black, anything, meaning of that is this will work with h1 tag only. Okay, so we should, if you want to see, if you want to define this, that if you want to define that a class should work within this element, then you need to use this like this: h1.element, h1.class name, h2.class name, table dot anything, whatever elements you're using, you need to define in that way. Okay, so now we will see that if we will use class here, let me make it green, color equals to green. Okay, now if I will copy this class is black, and if I will use this class equal to black in this h2 tag, this should not work, correct? Because we are expecting that this class should work inside h1 element, right? What I have done here is I have created one class with h1.black. Black is the name of the class, and what we are doing, we are making color is edge green here. Okay, now if you will see this in h2, we have used this class. Where we are using this class, we are using this class in h2. Now if we will reload this page, it will not work, correct? This heading is not coming in green, h2 is not coming in green. Now if we will use the same class in h3, let's remove this class equals to, let's do one thing, save, let's make it h2. Okay, h2.black. So what will happen now? Now this black class, where we have defined this black class, wherever we will use this black class inside the h2 element, this styling will work, right? So in h2 we have used this black class. Now styling should work, guys. Here, let me remove this also because this is not record now. Save it. Now if we will reload this page again, this h2 heading will become green. Clear how to use this? Yes, this is type of, this is not a descending selector. Like as we can like you can say it for just for understanding purpose. Yes, you can say this. Okay, and for your inform, you can do it like this also. h2.p.black means inside h2 element we should have p element, then if we will use black class, then this black class will work. Clear? Save it. Now let's move on, guys, to the next selectors. Now we have id selector. Okay, id selector means if we need to define the id, if you will see a code here, in this code, guys, we are using id, some id here, right? So now this id will come into picture. Okay, if we will define some styling for this id, this id styling will be reflected here. I told you in last class also, to identifying it, we will use id, right? So what we are doing, that we will identify this h3 tag with this id, and what we want to do, we want to define some styling for this id. Okay, so that also we can do. Let me show you here. Let me copy this id. This is called id selector, guys, and this selector things you need to remember so many selectors these days, because in lightning also we will have many selectors. Okay, let's give some name as id test. Okay, I'm going to give name at id test, and this 000 color coding is for black color. You need to remember this. 0006 time you will use 0. It's called 6 digit hexa codes. It will always be for black, so I'm going to do it now yellow. Okay, so wherever I will use this id, this color should become yellow, so I'm going to use id here. Control paste, save. Okay, this h3 text should become yellow now. Can you see this, guys? This h3 tag becomes yellow now. Clear? This id tag, I hope this id tag is clear to everyone. Dot equals to class s. Now if you will use hash symbol, that is called id. It's correct, Fellet. Okay, so that's what we will do with id selector. Is it clear to everyone, guys? Please confirm. It should be clear to everyone, each and every one of you. Sule, Sarah, Suha, Naj, everyone, please confirm. Yeah, so good. Thank you for confirming. Now let's move on, guys. What are the next selectors we have? Now we have child selectors. Okay, now what is the meaning of child selector? I will tell you. This is like descendant only. Let me rule will run all paragraph in black if they are direct child of the body. Actually, this is like a descendant selector only. Now I need to see what is the difference between descendant selector and child selector. But have different functionality. Consider the following example. Body P. This rule will render all the paragraphs in black if they are direct child of the body element. Other paragraph put inside other elements like div or td would not have any effect. Okay. So what is the meaning of this? I understood it. Like if you will use body, this symbol and P means if you will use paragraph symbol directly inside the body. Okay. So if you will see this in our code, we have body element, right? We have body element. If you will use body and this greater than symbol H2. So means if H2 is the direct child of body, it will like for this H2, this styling will be reflected. Okay, whatever styling we will define, that styling will be reflected like this. If I will do body greater, let's say I'm going to do it for table. Okay, so if we will use some color, color blue. Okay, what will happen if table is direct parent of body? This table will become the blue. Okay, now let's check this. Control R. Can you see this? All the tables which are directly all the tables which are directly child to the body element, they have become blue. And in this code, if you will see that all the tables are direct child. If you will see the first table, okay, with that first table, this is the first table. This table is direct element of child body. It is coming under body. In the same manner, the second table is also coming under the body. Okay, that's why both the tables become blue. Three tables actually we have. All these three tables become blue because all these three tables are coming inside the body element. And we have defined this in such a way that if table elements will come directly in body elements, we will define this styling. Clear? Class of usage of class and id. Yes, so most of the times see this body tag, this descendant tag is very rarely used. Most of the times you will use these two things only, these two things. Okay, and this also descendant also, I saw descendant also getting used very frequently. So difference is, see, class, if you will define class, the difference will be, see, you will now we will learn some division also. Okay, we will learn some division. So with there we can use the class also and we can use the id also. Exact difference, I don't know now. I will check. Okay, what is the exact difference between class and id? I need to check this. I will check this icon and let you know. Okay, because we can use the id here there also. In the same manner, we can use the id and we can use the class. Okay, now let's jump on to next topics, guys. We have so many topics covered till now. Okay, now this attribute we will never use in lighting actually, so I'm not going to cover this multiple style rule also. Grouping also I'm not going to include. Yeah, now here comes the embedded CSS styles. Embedded CSS, guys. Okay, so what is the meaning of embedded CSS? Embedded CSS means is if you are embedding something inside the head element. If you will see this, this page, in this page, HTML page, we have head element also, right? And what we used to do, we used to define some headers, right? If you want to define the title of the page and some headings, we will do those in head tags. If you will define styling within this head tag element, means it will be counted as the embedded CSS. Okay, if you will define styling outside the embedded CSS, outside HTML, this is normal CSS, right? This is not a embedded CSS. Okay, now to do that, we need to follow some pattern. The pattern will be in style. You need to define a type. What is the type of CSS? You will always define type as text CSS because we are making this styling text. And media will be all. We will always define media equals to all. If you want to know what is the meaning of that, you can go through this attributes. What are the attributes? Type equal to, like, it will define you like what is the content type. So content type we are defining as text CSS only, right, in this style, because we are using CSS. Now next thing is media. So most of the time we will use all only. Default value is all. If you want to define some particular value, like that also you can define, but I never use anything other than all here. Okay, and most see, this is particular to HTML only. This embedded CSS we will not use in Lightning, because in a Lightning components we will always have separate CSS file. Can you see this style file? We have this separate style file, so we will always use our CSS here. In component also you can define styles, but we don't have any head tag here, header tag. Okay, in this aura component we don't have any header tag. We will use inline CSS obviously many time, and we will use the external CSS, but we will never use this thing called embedded CSS. Okay, but how to use the embedded CSS in HTML, that we will do if you will define your text inside head text, that will be counted as a embedded CSS, guys. Okay, now next is inline CSS. You need to learn what is inline CSS, because this will be used very frequently. I'm saying it. Okay, now what is the meaning of inline CSS? I will tell you. So when we are writing this HTML code, okay, whenever we are writing this HTML code, so right now what we were doing, we were defining all the style outside the HTML code, and we are defining in style sheet, and we are using this style inside these elements, h2 element or h3 or h4 everywhere. Now what is the meaning of inline? See, this is not inline CSS, right? This is outline, means we have defined this class, and when the like execution will come into this 12th line, it will tell the code that whenever this page will be rendered, it will this page will see that in this h2 tag we are using a class equals to black. Then it will look for black class. Where is this black class, right? And it will check the styling in this black class, and it will put this styling, whatever styling is defined inside this black class. Now what is the meaning when we will talk about inline CSS? Means we will define style within the tag equals to, we will define some style here within this tag, and we can define style like color equals, let me do it, color is equals to red. Okay, that's how we will define the styling within inline CSS. Okay, how to define it, guys? Style equals to, in double braces you need to use double braces, and whatever attribute you want to use that attribute name and value. After this colon you need to use the value. Okay, and you can define multiple selector here. After this we can, if you want to put one more selector, that also you can do, like background color, everything. Okay, now if I will save this, we will see that color of h5 will also be red, guys. Color or of h5 will become red now. Clear? What is the meaning of inline CSS? Inline CSS means at the same place we will use define the styling. Clear to everyone? What is the meaning of inline CSS? Any confusion, any question? Everyone? Please confirm, guys, if it is clear to everyone. Now, this is what is the meaning of inline CSS. Okay. Now, next thing is external CSS. Okay. Now, this is the main thing I will explain to you. So, guys, I told you that right now, see, this is not inline CSS, but also not external CSS. External CSS is means we will save our CSS code in some files. Okay. So let me show you this thing. If I will do the same thing, let me copy this style. Okay. What I will do, I will control X from here. Okay. And we will make one more text file and we will save it somewhere. Let's say I'm going to save it in this page. Control paste, Control S. I'm going to save it with some name. And here I don't need to use style, guys, because this is a CSS file. This is not a HTML file. Okay. Now let's save it and let's give some name as test. Yes, test CSS. Okay. And we will use that. We will use this dot CSS. Dot CSS. We do have any dot CSS here. Leave it. We will use dot css. Whenever you will save some file, if you remember when we were creating HTML file, how we have saved it, we have saved it with .html. So that's why this page is working as .html. Now if we will save this class as test class css.css, means it will be saved as a CSS file. Okay, so this is a CSS file now. Okay, now if I will save it, now if I want to use this styles, what I need to do, I need to import this CSS file. I need to use this external CSS file inside our HTML code. Inside this HTML code, I need to define which styling sheet, external styling sheet we are using, right? So to do that, okay, so Fatullah, what we have done is we have copied our styling from this HTML page, and I have created one more file, and that file name I have given as test CSS. Okay, and we have saved this file as with name with .css. Okay, so once we will use with .css, this file will be working as a CSS file. In the same manner, if you remember yesterday, this HTML file we have saved with .html name. So once you will save it with .html, means this is a web page. Yes, I will share it. Okay, this is the code, and you can define any code. Just give a single code here, and we will see how to use this external code into the HTML. Okay, now what can you share here? Yes, Nej, okay, I will share here also. Just give me a minute. Yeah, thank you again for sharing this. Okay, now the next thing we need to learn, guys, is how to use this external CSS in the HTML pages. So we need to give the link, guys. Okay, we will give link here. How to give this link, I will tell you. Okay, let's go to the please guys, please come back to my screen sharing. Okay, what we are going to do in this header, we will give some links. This link means this link will have what is the type of this link? Type of this link is text CSS. Now you need to give one href, means reference. What is the reference of this? We can use some online CSS file also. Let's say if somebody is giving that, okay, this is the URL, and on this URL you will find the CSS file. That also we can do. But right now we have saved this where we have saved it on a computer. Okay, and we have saved it in this training SFTC. Where we have saved it? Just a minute. HTML code, inside this HTML code. Okay, reload it. I will reload this. Now I want this path. Okay, so you need to click here and you need to copy the directory name. This is the directory name. okay, and we will paste this directory name here. So this will take the directory href, and once it will check the what is the link, and in this link it will get the directory because we have saved it in local machine. Okay, I am not going to define any media here. Let's save this. Once we will save it, so you can see that this class is not there, this id is not there, nothing is there, right? This only h5 styling should be happen. If I will remove this line first, let me remove it, control x, control save. If I will save it, now we will see that every styling will be gone. The only styling will be there is heading 5, because on this heading 5 we have defined the inline css. And same with this second table, I will show you. On this second table also we are using inline css, inline styling. Can you see this, guys? Border color and background color. That's why on the second table this styling we are saying, and all other styling is gone, right? Now if we will use external css here, that styling should come back. Now let's save it. Okay, now I will reload it. Just a minute, it's not coming. HTML quotes. Yeah, I forgot one thing. We need to give the name of the css file also. Test css dot function f2, control c. Now we need to give the name of this, control paste dot css. Okay, now let's save it. This is not working. Just a minute, guys. Let me do one thing in this media. What I need to give? Just a minute. Media equals to all. Let me give all here. If this is making difference. No, this is not making difference. This is the way actually we will give this reference, but why it's not working? Running SFDC, HTML code, test css.css. Yes, that's how we will give the href. Just a minute, guys. I'm thinking about it. Href equal to this and media equal to this. Same way or same thing we have done, but okay, this will also work actually. Just give me a moment, okay? Because our HTML code and this code are on the same page. We don't need to do this. Remove it. Control save. Now it will work for sure. Test css.css. That's the only way actually we will do, because our HTML page and this page on the same directory, and this should pick this CSS file from here. Okay. Now the error, what the error is, I'm not able to find the error. Why this is not working actually? Media equals to all. Let me copy this. This also I need to check. Okay, why it's not working? Because this should work. That's the only way we will use this. Okay. In this href, what we are giving, I will tell you. We are giving the href, means reference. Okay. What is the reference of CSS file here? So the reference of CSS file is this. Okay. Test css.css. So we are not giving the directory name here because this test1.html is also on the same directory. So it will look on the same directory and it will work. Can you please try in your machine? You can also try in your machine, guys, and please try to give this link and please check if it is working for you or not. Okay, I'm going to paste it on Slack. Please check it. No, .css we need to use actually. Is it working for you, Padullah and Akin? Because it's not working for me. Please try, everyone please try in the machine and please check if it's working, because I am facing issues. It's not working for me. I don't know why. I think I'm doing everything correctly. Equal to my style.css name is also correct. Test css.css. Please check, guys. Everyone please try it in your machines. Not working. Yeah, it's not working for you as well. Just a minute. Chrome local. Yeah. HTML won't link to external style sheet on local system. That's the problem. Because when I learned it, this was working, guys. I don't know why they have removed this reference. Can you see this? href. Now some comments are there. Reference text equals css. Link style sheet href equals limbo.css. In the same manner, they are also doing it. I don't know why it's not working for me then. Style sheet from local drive. Can I include style sheet look in a page served from websites? Link equals to. Well, I want to able to. Okay, what page is localhost custom.css? Yeah, this we need to use. Just a minute. No, guys, I will explain it. Okay, once I will get it. What is the meaning of localhost? That also I will explain. But it is not working. Localhost. Let's give the full directory name now. Then I hope it will work. Control C. In localhost, what is the directory? Okay. In this localhost, this is the directory, and in this directory, this is the file name. Control save. What we need to use this symbol. In this training, SFDC, this HTML codes. In the HTML code, this is the test.css. Yeah, I will check it. Okay, it's not working for me, but that's how we will use the external CSS. Okay, so two things are pending with me. I will check it. External CSS and difference between class and ID. Okay, so shall we proceed, guys? This is how we will use external CSS. Okay, we will save it, and why it's not working, that I will check and I will let you know, because I don't want to waste time, guys, on this same thing. Clear? Shall we proceed now? And the next things, is it okay with everyone, guys? Shall we proceed to the next points? Okay, now next thing is import. What is the meaning of import? Okay, now the meaning of import is, see, import means we need to give some URL. Okay, let's say I had one example actually, but I forgot, like I don't have that link. So some public sites are there. Okay, some public sites are there, and they have created one HTML5, and they have hosted that HTML, sorry, they have hosted the CSS file online. Okay, if you will have some URL for those CSS file, you can also use that here, guys. Just use @import equals to URL. Just give the URL name, and you can use all the styling which is mentioned there in that CSS file. Okay, that's how we will use this import here in HTML. Clear? But right now I don't have any URL, public URL for styling, so I will not be able to give the example for this. But the purpose of this is, if somebody hosted their CSS file uh, as a public site, okay, then we can use that also. Okay, that's the meaning of this. Now let's come to the priority. Which one will have more priority, guys? Okay, so the first priority will be having inline CSS. So inline CSS means when we are defining styling within the tag, with this style tag, this will have the more priority. Okay, because this is the inline CSS. So if you see the line number 16, this inline CSS will have more priority. So let's check this. Okay, let me do all the changes. Just a minute. Okay, we have our styling here. Control Z, save. Okay, so we have one class called let me do it only black class. Okay, we have one class and class name is black. Okay, so if we will use class equals to black, the color should be green, right? That's what we are expecting. If we will make class equals to black, color of this is heading to should be green. Okay, and we can check it here. Control reload. Can you see this? This is heading to it's not green yet. Just a minute. What's happening, guys? Yellow, it's become yellow. Color equals to green, black. Sorry, guys. See, if you will see this, I forgot to mention dot symbol here. Okay, if you will not use dot, it will not take as a class. Now, if you will reload it, this is heading to becomes green, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to use class and inline CSS at the same time, and then we will see which one going to override which one, means which one will have more priority. So here h2 class equals to black. Now what I'm going to use here, style equals to color is which color, guys? Let's use red. Okay, so what do you think, which color will be there for this is heading to? Color will be red, because this inline CSS has more priority. Okay, if we will reload it, we will see that color of this heading to will become red, because we know we have defined the class also, but this class has less priority. This inline CSS has more priority. Okay, that's first priority, first thing. Now second thing. Okay, now now the next thing is, if you be are defining style within a page, within the same page, we have defined this style, right, within the same page. So if you will use this style tags, they will have more priority than the external CSS. External CSS means if you have saved your CSS on some sites or this file, let's say we have this test CSS, right? In this test CSS we have some styling, and we are using that styling also. At the same time, we are using this styling which is defined inside the style tag. In that case, this style tag will have more priority. External CSS will have the least priority. Okay, external CSS will have the lowest priority. First priority will be inline CSS. Second priority will be styling CSS, whatever we have defined inside this style tag, and third lowest priority will be external CSS. Clear, guys, the priority thing? Now if you will see that you have defined some styles, still it's not working, please check the priority first, then check the tags if you have used correct tags or not. Clear? Any question, any confusion, guys, on this thing? Now CSS comments. Yeah, I forgot it. In CSS, we will use comments like apex, guys. After break, it will be more clear. Guys, please say directly that I won't break. Okay, so the thing is, now last thing, please check this thing only. So we can use comments like whatever we are doing in apex, in the same manner we can use comments in CSS also. How we were using comments, guys, in apex, slash dot and whatever we will close it here. Okay, that's how you will use comments in CSS also. Okay, clear? So let's take a break, guys, then break of 10 minutes, and next break will be 5 minutes. Okay, please come back everyone in 5 minutes. Don't sleep guys yet. Okay, so please come back in 10 minutes guys. I'm waiting for you, and in this 10 minutes you can have your coffee, tea. It's up to you. Clear? So let's meet after 10 minutes guys. See you. Hello, hi everyone. Is everyone back? Hello, am I audible, guys? Nice. What about others? Yeah, nice. So the next thing is, guys. Next thing is the measurement units. Okay. So most of the times, let's say in font size, what is the font size you want to give? Okay. Font size means, let's say text size. I want to give pixels. Most of the time, we will give in pixels. Okay. What I use actually fix in percentage, like in this points also we have used many times, and height also we have used in percentage. Okay, that's 20 like if you will use, let's say, 40%, so if it will give you 40% of total heights. Let's say your division has some like half of the screen, your division covering, and if you will define that 40% means 40% of the division will be used in that size, maybe text or box, anything, anywhere. Centimeter, you can use your size and centimeter also. This ex and mm is like millimeters. Okay, en is inches. And what is this em? I never used em actually. What is the meaning or relative measurement for the height of font in em spaces? I have no idea what is em actually. Okay, and ex. I used en, cm, and percentage. And when we will work with other things, we will use px also. I think it's there. Okay, px is also there. Most of the times we will use pt or px. Okay, because they are the most commonly used measurements. Most of the 90% cases we will use px or pt. Okay, let's say you want to give some left padding, and you will give some 5 left paddings, and then 10, 20, 30, like this only. And guys, it's a hit and try. Okay, you need to give hit and try. First you will give 10 pixels, and then you will see if your padding is correct. If it's not correct, then you need to increase the pixels, or if it's more, you need to decrease the pixels. That's how we will do this styling things, because nobody is let's say in this page, you are seeing this page, right? And you want that this is heading to should come from here, and you don't know how many pixels are we need to pad, right? How many pixels we will have for this. So first you will, what you will do is just give 100 pixels, then you will see how much it is getting shifted to right side, and then on based of that you can increase or decrease the pixels. Okay, that's allowed measurement units. And color codes, how to use the colors, guys? So most of the times hexa codes or name, we can use the name, right? Black, aqua, white, like this, or hexa codes. And short codes also rgb, like this. You can use this short code also, or percentage, how many percentage red color is there, how many percentage green color is there, how many percentage of blue color is there. That also we can use, and this is called rgb absolute. So these are the way we can define the colors, guys. Okay, so these are the base we can define the colors. Like if you are giving some color coding to anything, either it's a no, I can, there's no default. Whenever you will use like size, you need to mention 15 pixels or 15 pt. You have to mention this. There's no default thing, because we will always mention like 15 px or 15 pt. Okay, it will not be like size is 15. Okay, now these are the color codes. That's how we can define the colors. If you want to make color your text color, let's say green, so if you it's direct green, you can use green directly. If you think it's not green, you can get the color codes from online tools. You will get color codes for everything. Okay, so if you want short code also you will get, or hexa code also you will get. Clear? That's how we will use the color codes, guys. These are all codes only. Now background, let's talk about background color. Now we can use background color, we can set background image, we can use background repeat. I will explain what is the meaning of background repeat. We can set the background position. Okay, all these things we can do. Now first let's discuss about background color, because this thing we already discussed when we were working on table. Okay, what is the meaning of background color? Let's say in this h2, okay, we have used style here, right? Let's remove this class because this is no sense now, right? What I want in this style, I want color as red. Okay, and semicolon and background color equals to what background color we want. Let's put background color as blue. So what we are trying to do is, for this heading H2, the color text color should be red and the background color I want as blue. Okay, if I will save this and if I will reload it, you will see that this heading, this is heading 2, this is the text we are using, and color of text is red but color of the background is blue for this heading, right guys? That's what we will do in heading. That's what we will do in background color. Clear? Now next thing is background image. Okay, same thing here we need to do. Now I need to check this also because this is also working for me. This was working like yesterday. I didn't try it, but that's how I have learned it. And you need to save one image on a local machine and you need to give the URL. Okay, so once you will give the URL and that image should work, guys. Okay, so what I'll will do is let's get some image from public platforms. Sorry, not here. Okay, background image means if you want to set the image at background. So if you will open some sites, you will see this also, right? That most of the sites will have some background image, right? Let's say I am opening this page and background is white here. If you want to put some background image here, you can use this tag, guys, background image tag. Okay, so to do that we need to use the background image. Now what is the meaning of repeat? Okay, if you do background repeat, meaning of this is, guys, let's say you are using one image, background image, and that image is very small. Okay, that image is this size only. If you will use repeat, it will be repeating and it will be full, it will fill your page, like it may repeat 3 times 4 times. Okay, so it will repeat more than one time. If your image is big enough to fill a page, then it will not repeat, but if your image is small, then it will repeat and it will be like you will see 2 images on the page. That's the meaning of this repeat, guys. Okay, now next thing is in which access means, let's say I have one image, I have this page, I am opening this page. Okay, this page I am having and my image is this size. This is heading 3. Now where you want to repeat the image? Do you want to repeat the image on the right side or on the top bottom? Means, do you want to repeat the image horizontally or vertically? So if you know basic math, guys, we have x-axis, y-axis. X-axis means horizontal, right? Y-axis means vertical. So if you want to repeat image in vertical line, it means a y-axis. So you can see this in slide also. If you will use repeat y, means it will be repeated vertically. If you will use x here, means it will be repeated horizontally. Okay, that's the meaning of, guys, repeating a background image repeat. Clear? Any question, guys, till now? That's what repeat is. Now next thing is background image position. Okay, this is also important, guys. Please listen to me carefully. Now when we are talking about position, means if you will put image here, it can come anywhere. Maybe it will come on the right top, it will come on the right top is this, it will come on left top, right top, in between. But if you want to give some position that on this particular place only I want my image should be displayed. Okay, on this particular position only what I want my image to be displayed. So let me try actually this thing. If this is working, only thing we will do is, just a minute, we will copy one image from my desktop. We will use Salesforce image here. I have Salesforce image, this one, copy this and I will paste it in this, control paste. Okay, and we will copy the name f2, let's say test.png. This, let's copy the name, let's copy this URL, control C, control B. Okay, and I will try to copy the image URL. within this, not in table. Yes, in table also we can do that. It's up to us. Let me open this style copy and let's go to a code. I'm trying to check, guys, if it is working for me, because if it will work, then only it will be better to explain this. Table, not this table. Let's do it in first table here. Let's remove. Okay, here we don't have any designing. Space, control B. Okay, and in this background image URL, we will give the URL of our page, the URL we have copied. Control C, and with that, here we will give the image pattern. Control B. Okay, and in this HTML code we need to give the name, and name is test.png. Okay, let me check if it is working. I think this will not work, guys. I know it. I will check this, guys. Okay, how it will work, but that's how we will import the image. Okay, now if you want to position it, we can give the position 100 px. Okay, this 100 px means it will see, first thing is, if you give only 100 px, means first 100 px is meaning of pixels from left side. If you give 100 px space 100 px, means first is pixels from left side, second is pixels from right side. You can see this here, 100 px 100 px means 100 px from left side, 200 px from right side. That's the position I want to put my image in the same manner. You can give fixed means, if you make it fixed, guys, please don't make it fixed, this attachment actually, because if you will make it fixed means it will be truncated. Maybe the size of your image is more than the size of your page. Then what will happen if you make it fixed? Like you may not be able to see the full image, full attachment. Okay, that's the meaning of attachment. So is it clear? This background image is clear to everyone, guys? How we will use this background image? To use the background image, we need to use this name, this style. The name of this is background image, and in the URL we need to give the URL. Okay, the only thing is it's not working from my personal machine, so I need to check, and I will definitely let you know how to use this URL here. Okay, but it will definitely work 100%. Okay, and we can give the position also for these images. We can repeat the image more than one time. Okay, and we can give like how we want to repeat it vertically or horizontally, or we can give the like padding. This is called padding, guys, left padding, right padding. Okay, we can give the position from left side. The position should be 100 px, like after 100 px our image should be present, and this is like from right side, this should be 100 px. Clear? Yes, I know it. That's correct actually. We will do it. Just I will definitely I will give the code. Okay, and you can trust that code, no worries. Now next thing is font family. Okay, font means everybody know font, right? Because each one of us is using like Excel sheet, MS Word, right? And there we are using font size. So font, we can give the font size, font bed. Okay, font family means what type of text you want to give for your text, what type of font, Arial, Times New Roman, all these things you can define in HTML also. Okay, in font family. Now how to define it? You can define it anywhere, either within inline css, or within style tag, or within external css. You can define the font anywhere. Now what is the meaning of font family? Font family means what type of text you want to show. Let's say I want to define font family as Georgia. It's up to us. Okay, Calibri. So let's say if I will give this font family equal to this, so this font will change. Okay, let's copy this, and what I'll do, I am going to use this within the inline css. Okay, so within inline css I am going to use it. I have given this style as red, background color blue, and I am going to give the font family also here in the same place. I am giving font family, and which family? Georgia, Gramont, and Serif. Now if I will save this, we should see some changes. Okay, on this heading 2 we will see some changes. That, can you see this style has changed? If you have noticed this, style has changed for this. Now this has different style, text style than this one, because we have used the different font family for this text. Okay, and we can define the font size also. If you want to give some other font size, that also we can define. Let's say I want to give font style. If you want to give it italic, underline, that also we can do, guys. Let's say I want to give font style as italic, so it will be an italic style. Within this we can do this. Font style is italic, and once we will save it, we will see that this text will be in italic style. Reloaded. Can you see this, guys? It became italic, right? That's what the purpose of font family is. Clear? Now next thing is we can give the size also. Font size also we can give the font size, font variant, font weight. Okay, font weight means if you like talk about weight means, guys, this thing, this will be more like darker. Weight means, guys, like this lines will be more bigger. That's the weight. Okay, and we can define the weights of this. Yeah, bold level, correct. Okay, now variant means it's a small caps, or like if it's a small or caps, that also we can do. Okay, like what type of text you want to render. If you are putting this text, and if you want to put it in small caps, like small, it will come in small only. If you will put small, it all this text will become small. If you will put caps, caps, all this text will be becoming caps. Clear? This is very easy, right? Caps, guys, you know, right? What is the caps? Meaning of caps means bigger letters. Okay, that's what will happen with caps small, and if you put small caps means it will be in small caps only. Like however, whatever you are writing, I think this, there's no use of this small caps. We will use it when we want to make it small or caps. Okay, now next thing is set the size. We can also pick the size, guys. So let me show you this. This is important one because we will use this very frequently. Okay, now I'm going to define one font size thing in paragraph. Let's do in this paragraph. Where in this paragraph I want to give the size of this text. Okay, this text size I want to change. How to do that? I will give the font size. Right now I'm going to use font size as 100px. Save it. Okay, now if we will reload this, so this is the text we are printing, right? And this is the text we have put our styling for font size. If you will reload it, can you see this size? Font size is changed, right? If I will change it to 5px, let's say 5px, again this font size will change, guys. If I will reload it, can you see this? Font size become 5px. Okay, that's the meaning of font size. How to change the size of the fonts. Clear to everyone, guys? Is it clear to everyone till now? Please confirm. Suha, Sule, Sarah, Naj, Mehmet, Fatullah, Aiken, Derek, Diana, and Ashnu. Is it clear to everyone? Please let me know if you have any query or I am getting fast. You need to please like let me know if you have any query, guys, or if you have any issue. Shall we proceed now to the next points, next things? Yeah. Thanks for confirming, guys. Okay, this font size done. Now next thing is remaining is excuse me. Now, guys, spacing. Okay. Now, if you want to give the letter spacing means, I think this everyone know this letter spacing, right? Letter spacing means if you are writing this document, space content, space goes. If you want to give the spacing between these two letters, okay, means that we can do with the help of letter spacing. Color, we can give the color of the text, that we already done, right? We can give the direction, text direction, like from right to left you want to print, or left to right you want to print. So let's do this. Let's do some practice. So this thing, guys, we already done. Okay, color is red. So this thing I'm not going to explain one more time because this we are doing from the start. Okay, now next thing, text direction. Let's see what is the meaning of text direction. You will love it actually. Okay, in this p style, what I'm going to do now, let's do this on this heading. On this H5 heading, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put one style, and that style gonna be text direction URL. Okay, Control Z. We need to put it inside this. Control B. Let's remove this. Okay, direction RTL means right to left. Okay, so once we will do right to left means right now, if you will see, this text is coming from left to right. Okay, where we have put it, where we have put it, we have put it on heading 5, means here we have put this style on heading 5, right? So right now we are seeing this text here. If you will reload it, you will see this text here, because we have put text direction from right to left, right to left. So this is the right and this is the left, right? By default it will be left to right. Okay, but if you will make it RTL means right to left, then that's how you will see your text. Clear, guys? How we will use yeah, Arabic direction, but I think in Arabic we start from the left bottom, right? Right bottom to top right. Urdu, right? Okay, that's what this RTL means, right to left means. Okay, guys. Now, what is the next thing? If you make it LTR left to right, then it will be same as what we were saying. Yeah, Urdu is same actually in India. Like Urdu is very popular actually. Okay, so if we will change direction as L to LTR, you will see that it will be from left to right, guys. Can you see this? It is left to right. Okay, that's what we will do with text direction, guys. Clear? Now, if we want to give some space, that also we can do. So can you see the spacing means between the characters? If you want to put some spacing, let me show you this thing. This is also you will get to know. Okay, we have given the letter spacing. Now next thing we are going to do is we are going to give the letter spacing. Okay, we have given the direction of the letter. Now letter spacing is 5px. So you will see that you will see a big difference in this HTML5. In this is heading 5. We will see that we will see some letter spacing. Control R, can you see this? The spacing of 5px we can see between these letters. Okay, you can decrease. If you think that this is too much, you can decrease it to 3px. If you will save it, now again reload it, now this is looking better, right? So it's up to us how much spacing we want to give between the letters. That also we can give, guys. Clear? Is it clear to everyone, guys? Please let me know. If you have any query, you can tell me. Okay, now that's the meaning of spacing. Now if you want to give spacing between words, right now we were using the letter spacing, means between T and H we were using the spacing. Now if you want to define the spacing between the words, means between this and text, you want more spacing, that also we can define with the help of word spacing. That is the use of word spacing, guys. Okay, if I will use word spacing, let's say equals to 10px. Okay, now you will see a big difference here. Control R, can you see this? B got more space between this and H, right? This all things you will also we can also do in Excel and MS Word, right? Same thing we can do in HTML also with the help of styling. Clear? What is the meaning of word spacing, letter spacing? Okay, now I think that should be sufficient, guys. We don't need to learn anything in CSS. Okay, the only thing you need to learn is division, and that I'll cover when we will do the lightning. Okay, so guys, this we already saw, right? Border collapse, border spacing, empty cells, table layout, all these things we already covered. Okay, so let me see one thing. Let me see if something is missing. Okay, inclusion, I have explained background, font, text, images, links, tables, borders, margins. Yeah, let's see margins. This is important actually. Okay, margins and padding. Okay, guys, margin means how much margin you want to give from left, from top, from bottom, from right. Okay, if you will see this, if you want to give more margin on top, okay, if you want to give more margin on top, means this is heading I want on more bottom, we can give the top margin here. Okay, so that's where margin will come into picture. Okay, let's do this. Before heading 1, I am going to give some margin. Okay, let's go here. Okay, and in this h1, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give some style here only. Let's do this in h2. Okay, and here what we'll do, we will give margin. And which margin I want to give? I want to give them top margin, bottom margin. Let's say margin top. I want to give top margin. Okay, control p, and how much I want to give? I want to give 50 px. Okay, so after the heading 1 will be printed, we will see 50 px margin. Okay, so this h, between this h2 and h1, we will have 50 px margin. So this is changed. If you noticed where we have used it, just a minute, we have used it in h2 only. Yes. Okay, this is definitely changed because this, we got more margin between this h2 heading 1 and heading 2. Okay, now let's make it 100, then we will see more difference. Control Z. Okay, remove this 100, let's make it 100. Now we will see more difference here. Can you see this, guys? This is heading, before this is heading 2, we got more top margin, means between this heading 1 and heading 2 we have more space. So that's where margin will come into picture, guys. In the same manner, we can give left margin, right margin. Okay, let's give some left margin. Okay, here I'm going to give margin and left equals to, let's say, 20 px. Control Z, where I was, margin left, insert margin left, left is 20 px. Okay, what is happening, guys? Just a minute. Margin left is 20 px. Okay, let's close this, save it. Now we'll see that, we'll see one difference. Right now there is no margin on left. If I will reload it, can you see this? We got this left margin as 20 px. So that's how we will use the margin, guys. Clear? What is the use of margin? Is this margin clear to everyone, guys? Please confirm. I hope you are not sleeping. Is it clear to everyone? What is the meaning of this margin? Left margin, right margin, top margin, bottom. Same, in the same manner, you can give some bottom margin. If you are thinking, see, this form is on the bottom, right? I want that this form should be, there should be some gap between this form and bottom. So we can give the bottom margin also. Let's go to that form. Okay, and in this form, what we'll do, we will give some bottom margin. Okay, let's say style equals to margin, okay, bottom as 50 px. I want that 50 px margin should be there between this bottom and this. Can you see this, guys? We got this margin, right? This form, this form is more upside now, right? We can see the 50 margin here now. Okay, if you want to give some top margin, that also we can do, left margin and right margin. It's up to us which margin we want to give. The only thing you should know, how to give the margin. That's it. Yeah, so I will explain this. Let's come to padding first, then I will explain. With padding, links table, list outline, dimension, cursor, padding. Value of this data should be either length or percentage or about inherit the value of. So this is also same actually. Okay, like how much padding you want from the border. Okay, this both seems to be same actually for me. If you give, we can give left padding also. If you will give left padding, that also works. Like we will give like whatever border is there for the page, so we can give the padding. If you define 20 padding, means it will be padded 20 px from the left border. If you will give right padding, it will be padded 20 times, like 20 px from the right border. And same thing we are doing using margin. So I don't think there's much difference. If there is, like I need to check, because most of the time we will use margin only. Like in real time, we will use margin, not padding. Like we will using padding also. Like both are common things. Okay, any other query, guys? So guys, css is done. I don't think we should know more about css. That's the only thing we should know about css. Okay, now next thing you need to know, I will share this ppt with you guys. Please go through all the text which we have discussed. Okay, the text which we have discussed, and this will be really really helpful in lightning. I am telling you, once you will know these text, it is going to be help. It is going to help you a lot. Okay, that's why I have took a full class on this only. One class on html, one class on css, and one class I will take on javascript also. Otherwise what will happen, if I will, when I will teach you this aura component and lws component, and if I'll write something like this, where equals to let's say equal to this, you will say what is the meaning of bear, right? Because you don't know what is the meaning of bear, how to define the variables. No, html css will not come into interview. They will not come for sure. If you would mention it on a resume, they may ask. So guys, for interview purpose, whatever you are going to mention in resume, that will reflect the skills. Okay, you need to mention all the skills which you know. You can definitely mention html css, basics of html, basics of css. They are not going to ask you tough questions. Okay, they will definitely ask you very basic questions on html css. Like they will ask you what is, how to define the class in css. Okay, how to define, like what, which one will have priority. This type of questions only you will get on css, nothing else. They will not go into web development deep. Okay, they will ask you very basic question, because they are hiring for Salesforce developer, not for a front-end developer, right? Clear? And so we will learn javascript also in next class, so that we will see how to define the method inside the javascript, how to call the method from one method, how to call other methods. Okay, how to use the loops, conditions, all these things we will learn in javascript, and it will not take more than 1 hour. So 1 hour we will take for javascript in next class, and then we will start lightning or components. And I already told you that we will learn aura component, we will learn basics of aura component. Like we will not go into deep aura components, we will deep dive into lwc. But I will give you enough on aura component that you can create the you can create the component page. And if somebody will ask you some questions, you will definitely will be able to answer the questions, interview questions. Okay, the thing is guys, in lightning the questions are very limited. Okay, in interview questions are very limited in lightning, because you know lwc came in 2019 only, and most of the interviewer going to be 10-year experienced, 8-year experience, right? So most of them also do not know lwc and aura, and they will ask you very basic questions. If they will ask you tough questions, mean they are very experienced in lightning. Okay, so they are very rare, there are very rare chance that questions will be tough from lightning and lwc. The only thing they will ask you, the most important thing is real time, how you have implemented lightning in real time. That's you should know. Okay, so that's we will discuss in interview class, guys, because this is not an interview class. Okay, so that's all from css. I already shared this ppt. Okay, html and css ppt. So next class we will cover some basics of javascript, then we'll jump onto aura components. Clear? Any confusion, guys? Any question? Any question, guys? Please let me know if you have any query for me. Otherwise, if you don't have any query, we can take a break of 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, you know, if you remember from the project, assignment rule is still pending for us, right? We did not complete assignment rule from the admin part. we need to complete that because assignment rules is important topic. Okay, we need to complete the assignment rules and we will test it. So I will explain today from the project perspective how to create the assignment rules, how we will assign our cases to some queues. All these things we will discuss today. Okay, clear guys? So yeah, let's take a break of 5 minutes, then please come back in 5 minutes guys.